Welcome to LOA Today. Walt Thiessen, Tom Wells, and Alex King here on this Friday, November the 30th, 2018. It's 8 a.m. New York time, 5 a.m. Los Angeles time, 1 p.m. London time, and 12 midnight in Sydney, Australia. So whatever time it is where you're located, thank you so much for tuning in today. We really appreciate it. And as usual, we are live streaming to the Law of Attraction Change My Life group, although that's actually going to be expanding pretty soon if my tests prove out the way I think they're going to prove out. We're going to have even larger coverage than that, but not that that is small, because it's not, because there's like 92,000 people in the Law of Attraction
Mm-hmm.
Change My Life group. But we're going to start expanding it even bigger than that pretty soon if my tests work out right. So this is an exciting time. So Tom, how you doing? We haven't talked in a week, but how's it going for you?
It's been a good week. Lots of changes, lots of learning and exploring and interacting with a bunch of groups of people and lots of private sessions with people. It's been a good week. Yeah.
All right, good,
Lots of reading. I'm reading some incredible books right now and really happy about it. Yeah.
excellent. Oh,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
that sounds
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm always reading something that's like really my, I call it my leading edge of creative expansion. You know.
Very
Fancy.
good.
I
Yeah.
figure that's in fact, that was one of the questions I had for the question and answer one because we were each supposed to bring two questions today. So,
Right.
Hmm.
so one of mine said, why are we here in this earth realm? And that's one of my answers to that, for creative expansion, you know,
Mm.
that's one of the main reasons.
All
And we
right,
can
good.
elaborate on that if we end up talking about my questions. But I'm anxious to hear your guys' questions, but more anxious to hear our listeners' questions.
Well, first we got to also bring Alex in because she's been chiming in from
Yes,
time. But
of
Alex, how
course.
you doing? We talked on Tuesday, but how's it been going the last few days?
It's been going good. I've been rather popular this week.
Ooh,
Got-
popular.
Yeah, getting a lot
That,
of interactions with high school friends.
that's a good thing for
Cool.
somebody who's got agoraphobia. I mean, that'll help
Yeah.
get you out there just because you're getting
I
that
mean, it's
that
all
good,
online and
good
on the
start.
phone, but
Yeah, but
still.
still, even so, it's human interaction. That's a good thing.
Yeah. Mhm.
Really good. Excellent. Yeah, well, you've had a good few days for sure then.
I have. Yes.
So folks are just contacting you spontaneously?
Yeah, right out of the blue.
That's great.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I've been having a bunch of that too for some reason. People who I hadn't talked to for a long time are suddenly I'm
Mhm.
talking to them. Maybe it's the holiday coming on, and people are, they're reaching out. It's these shorter days and everything. We need more people in our lives.
True.
I mean, I do. I
Well,
love it.
that's what
I
the
love it.
holidays are about. The holidays are about friends and family and love and sharing and giving and all that kind of good stuff. So why not?
Yes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and eggnog.
And eggnog, that's right.
I just
Very
found out
important,
I
that
can't
eggnog.
have eggnog.
Oh,
I can't
I
either.
know.
I can't do dairy, and so I don't do eggnog.
well, I'll
Yeah.
have the eggnog for both of you, okay?
Oh,
Okay,
thank you, Walt.
thanks.
Okay.
Yeah. And you guys
So
can
we're
both eat
going.
the clam chowder. For me, I can't.
So that's weird. I can do the clam chowder. I can do chocolate milk, but no on
Really?
the eggnog.
No eggnog. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Makes you break out in hives or something.
No.
No, something else. You don't have to tell us.
Yeah. You get the picture I'm painting.
Yeah, right. I can see what
Yes.
you're laying down.
Yeah, there are times when you can try to avoid the TMI for good reasons. So yes.
Right.
So we're going to be doing one of our favorite things lately is to do Q&As with the members of the Law of Attraction Change My Life group. And we're also kind of expanding the concept a little bit because the three of us decided we're all going to bring a couple questions of our own to ask. So this is going to be a true interaction because we're going to have questions flying out of our ears here. And we already have people saying hello to us in the group. So hello, Nasha. Hello, Elizabeth. And more and more people coming in. So that's good. And Nasha already has her question ready. It's regarding money. Okay, good. So looks like okay. Yeah, so people are starting to come in. Let's start with we'll do like one of our questions, and then we'll go to the group and see what questions we have there. So Tom, you said you were saving yours up. What's your first question? Bring up your question.
Well, that was the one I just mentioned is why are we here in this earth realm? Why is this happening?
Hmm.
It's kind of like, well,
It's the ultimate
look,
question.
look, it's happening.
Yeah,
So
it
just
is.
forget about it. Yeah, it is sort of the ultimate question. But somebody asked me that, what was it, yesterday? Yeah, yesterday, talking to this guy from Germany who's like in his 30s, and we were on Skype for 2.5 hours, and that was one of his main questions was, he says, Tom, why do you think we're here in this earth realm? And I go, oh, well, so I started answering that. And so I said, that's a good question for today.
Hmm.
Well, I
So
love
what,
the answer that Neil Donald Walsh gave in The Secret. Do you remember that?
no.
No, I
In the
don't.
movie The Secret, Neil Donald Walsh, when he made his first appearance in that movie, he appears there and he says, "There's no blackboard in the sky." And then there's an actual blackboard behind him, and he says,
Hmm.
"There's no blackboard in the sky that says, my name is Neil Donald Walsh, a handsome guy who," and then there's an underline, and the
Yeah.
universe fills in what your underline is so that you know what your purpose is in life.
Hmm.
But there's no blackboard in the sky. So your
Mm.
purpose, he says, is what you say it is. I
I
thought that was a
like it.
profound answer. Your
Yeah.
your
Yeah,
purpose is what you say it is, and I think
yeah,
that's true.
yeah, yeah. That really goes along with a lot of things, because we can wonder and struggle and worry about anything we want to, but is it ultimately simply up to us to decide what we're going to do next,
Hmm.
Yeah.
moment by moment?
Hmm.
And who else can tell us really anything? You
Hmm.
know, it's kind of always in our court in a certain way because we're living beings, and we always have this option to say, well, I think I'm going to just choose this, and we choose something, and then there's our life, whatever we
Yeah.
keep choosing. But we're also receiving, right? So here we are receiving and choosing. So we're co-creating, and yet, to me, what one of the answers I came up with is what this Navajo elder was. His grandfather of this 16-year-old girl, Navajo girl, was she was really hooked on drugs and struggling like crazy in her life. And her grandfather took her aside one day and said, "Honey, you know, the reason we're here is for the sake of beauty." He said we're born into beauty as beauty for a joyful life. And
Mm.
when you look at the amazing precision of the whole universe, and you look at trees and flowers and animals and love and the taste of food and so many things, you can see that there's beauty like trying to emerge all over the place all the time, There's just so
Yeah.
much of it. And there's order behind everything, they're finding the whole universe is based on incredible geometric order that you just can't even fathom how everything is so precisely aligned, like, the way the planets are in relation to each other. If the sun wasn't at the distance it is from the earth, we would either all freeze or we'd all burn up. But everything, why is it all so perfect?
Right.
I once heard that it's within 300 miles, that if we were 300 miles closer or 300 miles further from the sun, there wouldn't be life on this planet, you know, not as
Mm.
we know it. So how come everything is so precise like that? So life to me seems like we're here for some incredible sense of appreciating beauty. When you get into appreciation and you allow yourself to relax into it, it's sort of you can run your whole life just on your appreciation alone, just on allowing yourself to be happy for whatever is happening. Not that we're always happy, but we keep defaulting back to feeling good and to allowing things to unfold in a beautiful way. So to me, that's a lot of why I'm here, and then just keep expanding, just keep growing that beauty.
When you talked about the Earth being has a range of like 300 miles either way from the sun, and if it's
And I
off
don't know if
orbit,
that's a scientific fact, but I've
I'm
heard
not sure that it is actually, but let's assume that it is for the sake of discussion. To me, that's a positive thing.
yeah,
And the reason I say it's a positive
really
thing is
positive.
because it shows just how amazing our collective powers are as beings to visualize the absolutely perfect arrangement of the solar system. And,
Uh-huh.
and, and
Hmm.
I mean, because everything's created, right, by the thought process. So we all created this solar system with that exact distance from the sun so that everything would work out perfectly. That's a pretty high level of precision. We ought to pat ourselves on the back for how good we are.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that we
We're
haven't
good at
fried
this stuff.
ourselves.
That's right. That's right.
Now we have we actually have two questions so far from the audience. And one of them is directly related to the question that you raised, Tom. So let's bring that one in. Robin asks, well, she says, "Good morning, everybody." And then she says, "What if one wants what the universe has for us versus what we think we should try to manifest?" So in other words, contrasting, is it something where what the universe wants for us, or is it what we want to try to manifest? Which is, well, I guess she's asking what the priority is.
Hmm.
What do you think?
Go, Alex.
Hmm. That's an interesting question. Hmm.
I mean, I have an answer, but I wanted to give you guys a chance to go first. So,
I already got to answer the last one. My own question.
for me, the answer is pretty straightforward, and it
Hmm.
ties back to what Neil Donald Walsh said. Neil Donald Walsh, of course, for those who aren't familiar with the name, he's the author of the Conversations with God series, a series of, I think it was 7 books, in which he laid out his understanding of metaphysics and spirituality and so forth, and actually did so with these dialogues that he had with his higher power, with source, with God, whatever you want to call it. And he's the one who points out that our purpose is whatever we choose it to be. Now, I think that's actually literally true. So
Hmm.
when we ask the question, well, is it what the universe wants from me, or is it what I want? Abraham actually answers that one too. The universe wants for us what we want for ourselves. The
Yeah,
universe
that's
never
what I was gonna
judges.
say.
The universe is always saying, the universe never passes a moral judgment. It never says what's right or wrong. It never says what you should like or what you should dislike. It leaves
Hmm.
all that up to us. It supports us every step of the way by liking all of our choices. And that can be a little confusing because when it likes our choice and we don't like our choice, we're in disagreement and we feel lousy. But nevertheless, the universe is there saying, "Yeah, go. You want that? Go, go, go." In fact, I was listening to a conversation, a dialogue, a really interesting one, which you guys may have heard or may not. I don't know. It's a conversation between Abraham, as voiced by Esther, and Wayne Dyer while he was still alive. And this was one of the topics that came up in that conversation. And
Hmm.
Wayne Dyer was asking about, what it's like on the other side. And Abraham was explaining at one point, Abraham said, well, everybody is fixated, their attention is fixated on here on Earth. Abraham was trying to make the point that this is where all the good stuff is happening. And they said, non-physical beings spend all of their time just focused entirely on this fascinating thing called Earth. So, clearly the attention to what we're doing here is huge on the other side.
Hmm.
Okay. And
Yeah.
if we understand that and we understand that they're rooting us out with whatever choices we make, then it really becomes clear to me. The answer is it's whatever we choose,
Hmm.
you know.
But
So, I
this,
mean, choose wisely perhaps because it's your life, but nevertheless, it's
Yeah.
what you choose.
mhm, this question of, are we letting the universe unfold for us the life that is ideal for us, or are we feeling we're needing to control it a lot? That we need to always put in our 2 cents. And Abraham has said so many times that you've put so much into your vortex already that you could live lifetimes and never exhaust all that you've already asked for because you've been asking for lifetimes. And if that's the case, and then what they say is that what Source does for us, the universe, as we call the universe, is it unfolds it in the most perfect way possible for us. And so in a way, it invites us to relax and trust the fact that, look, it's all orchestrated for you. And that's what I've heard said so many times. The universe or source is making sure that it's going to be the best possible life you could have if you can relax enough to receive it. And that's so key. It's like it's there's this thing you might call a divine arrangement. It's like everything is going to be okay. But we
Yes.
but I know, if I can only speak for myself. I get so concerned that it's on my shoulders. It's up to me to make sure my life works out, that
Hmm.
I interject my effort in there too much instead of
Hmm.
instead of waking up and saying, I wonder what amazing things will happen today, I wonder how good my life could get today, and then just be in appreciation of everything I already have, and then look for things as they unfold to be coming to me by wondrous intervention, by wondrous grace, by beauty wanting to unfold in my life. And I think that's letting the universe bring me its gifts. Like
Mm-hmm.
Abraham has said, blessings are constantly raining down on us, but we put up our umbrella. So like to
Ooh, I
me, it's
like
like
that.
what? What? So it's really like I could trust that much and things would actually work out. I could trust that much. I don't have to like try so hard. And you think about before the day of notebooks and computers and everything, people couldn't even write down all their wishes. They just had to, you know, they just had to
Yeah.
like walk around and I bet it, in a way it could have been easier to just receive before we tried so hard to
Hmm.
organize our lives.
Yeah, I agree.
And I kind of love that. That's one of my dreams is to go live in a little house on a beach somewhere where I don't have anything to do except surf and walk on the sand and make love and pet my dog. I mean, it's like just a beautiful. Oh, and eat, and watch the stars at night. I mean,
Yeah,
there's life is kind of pretty amazing if we're in a really simple place.
Well, this is true. We have more questions pouring in here, so let's get to the next one. This is from Nasha, and she asks, I'm trying to manifest money, and she laughs. On the contrary, I'm way too broke. Why and what make me so broke? In spite of I'm trying my best for my needs to be met, I'm talking not about leisure, I'm talking about needs. Where am I going wrong? And then she says, well, I guess every life is a different purpose. But it's a common question. The probably the most common thing that people want to manifest and struggle the most
hmm
with is manifesting money. So I'm going to throw it out to the panel. What's the solution? How do we address her particular situation and the situation in general about attracting money?
I think she needs to get specific. Like, okay, I need such and such amount for this bill, or I need such and such amount for this, grocery bill or whatever. I think being specific is key.
Why is that?
I don't know. I just feel like if you just say, "Oh, I just want money," like you could find a penny on the floor. Like
That's true.
that
This
could
is
be what
true.
you manifested. You know what I mean? Find a penny, pick it up. So
Hmm.
that's
Yeah,
why
no,
I
that's a
think
good
being
point.
specific is key.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's very true. Tom, any insights on attracting money?
Well, I think one of the biggest understandings I'm getting about money is that money is just energy like love or anything that we want to come into our life. And there's a level of ease and peace of mind and relaxation that will allow money to flow to us a lot more easily or allow doors of opportunity to open up because we get into an elevated state of ease, of happiness. I know
Mm.
when I'm just like my most trusting or my most enjoying of life, that's when I meet the most cool people. That's when I have the most amazing conversations. And that's when money comes to me. I mean, I had a friend just give me several $1,000s the other day just because he had heard that I was struggling a little bit in one area, and he's a multimillionaire. And he just called me up and said, "I want to give you some money." And I was like, "Oh, okay," you know. And I'm not, I'm
I'll
not
take
des, I'm not
it.
destitute. I'm not destitute, but I felt like that was really nice of him. But it happened just because I was putting the call out, for that money to come. But I was in a
Mm.
place of, I think, really great receptivity because I really was in a place of trust, more trust than usual. So that's one way that money comes. It
Yeah, I
is
agree.
one of my biggest things that I still am learning is how to allow money to really flow. But when I used
Hmm.
to let it flow, when I was making six figures for years and years and years and years, I did set a goal every morning. It was a job that I did that I could make, 1,000 to 1,500 every day. And if I didn't set a goal in the morning of how much I was going to make by the evening, I would often be struggling. I'd be struggling sometimes up to 1 o'clock in the day, and wondering how come I've only made $300 or $400, and then I would say, oh,
Mhm.
I didn't set my goal yet, And then at 1 o'clock, I would set a goal of like, okay, I'm going to make $1,200 today, and by 5 o'clock, I would make the money. Now, of course, I
Yeah.
was in an environment where you could make the money, but it
Mm.
took it without that goal, and then I would just stick to it. I would just stay to that goal. I would just say, that's what I'm making. That's what I'm making. That's going to come. And then and it would come by miracles. I mean, every day it would be like something amazing would happen that would
Mhm.
enable that money to come to me. I was buying and selling things, but so,
Mm.
the right person would come along with the right
Yeah.
situation. It was just beautiful. And I'm trying to apply that now to my coaching business and doing workshops, and it's a different thing to let the
Mm.
money come now.
Mhm.
How about you, Walt?
Well, as we were talking about this, I was thinking about some of the teachings of Neville Goddard on not money, but just in general about attracting things. And there were two thoughts really that were going through my head. First thought was, this isn't really Neville, this is just kind of in general. Um, Attracting money is no different from attracting anything else. As Abraham likes to say, attracting a castle is just as easy as attracting a button. The only reason that one seems more difficult than the other is because we decide that one seems more difficult than the other. And it's
Mhm.
understandable. It seems more difficult because we really want that castle, but there are buttons everywhere. So buttons no big deal. Castles not so easy. It's a lot more difficult, we think. And
Mhm.
and because we think it's more difficult, it is more difficult.
Mhm.
Um, so that's the first thought that goes through my mind. The second thought, and this is where Neville comes into it, I think that since attracting money is just like attracting anything else. And you're right, Tom. Money is energy. It's all energy. Everything that we're attracting is energy when it really comes down to it. All things are energy that have been kind of solidified into a particular thing that, stays a particular thing because that's what we shaped it into. Um, because of that nature of what it is that we're attracting and how we're attracting, we can focus on what result we want associated with that thing, and it'll produce the same kind of results. So, like the Neville approach, one of the first things Neville talks about is how he attracted a steamship ticket from New York City to Barbados. This was in the 1930s. No internet. There were
Wow.
barely any telephones. I mean, it was like there was
Wow.
nothing. You couldn't fly there hardly. The commercial air traffic had not really taken off yet, if you forget the
Yeah.
pun. It just
Good, Walt.
it just hadn't happened yet. So and he didn't. He could probably have written home because like I said, he was from Barbados, so he could have written home, but he would have had to wait for the mail to get there, right? Because it's not like
Mhm.
2 day delivery. It would have taken him
Right.
probably 2 weeks to get there. But he met up with this guy named Abdullah, who plays a major role in his life, and Abdullah teaches him to create what I would call, Cindy Chavez and I call a vignette, a little short scene that represents what it feels like immediately after the thing manifests. And so
Mhm.
he created a little vignette, a little short 10-second, 15-second video in his mind of what it's like when he actually gets to Barbados. Because he knew
Mhm.
Barbados. He grew up there. He knew the island. And so that's what he ended up doing. And within a very short period of time, he received an unexpected telegram from his brother saying, "We want you home for Christmas. We're sending you a steamship ticket so you can come home for Christmas." So he manifests
Aw.
this ticket by visualizing what it would be like to get there for Christmas.
Mhm.
And we've all done stuff like that. So for Nasha, I mean, I know you've manifested things, and my reaction to you would be, look at the last thing that you manifested. I actually know the story of what she manifested last, but I'm not going to tell her story. But
Mhm.
nevertheless, she manifested something really, really cool.
Mhm.
Well, do the same thing.
Mhm.
Do the same thing. Just create that same scene and just keep playing that scene. It's the result that you want. I mean, we like to talk in terms of attracting something and getting passionate about it and so forth. But I mean, it's kind of hard to get passionate about money. It's like, well, it's money. Like great, I
Yeah.
can spend money. But oh wow, I am so in love with money. No, it doesn't work that way.
Right.
But we're passionate about what we're going to spend it on. So you're trying to attract the money for a particular purpose. That's what you want to be focusing on. You want to get excited about the thing that you know you can get excited about because you're already excited about it. And honestly, you
Mhm.
just keep working that, playing that little video, that little vignette, that little motif in your mind. And I honestly think that's the best way to do it.
I think there's one other thing too in that, at least I'm finding that what I'm working on is I'm becoming an emotional clearing facilitator. And I think that if in your family of origin you had the example given to you by your parents or somebody who was one of your main caretakers about how hard it was to have money, and that, or maybe you grew up in a family where you got that message a lot, then you've got this internalized emotion that keeps on running in you, and it's telling you, that it's difficult, and
Mhm.
you're having fear because of that. You're having doubt and wonder and worry about creating it, and I think we need to process those old fears too. We need to let that stuff, be felt in us and accept that, that's how it was, and that allow those feelings to be okay and to feel them, and then we can begin to release the pressure that we have on that stuff. We start to let go of how hard we're holding on to the same way that we learned it from our parents. To be,
Mhm.
that money doesn't come easy. There's so many things in our society that say that. You only get money by hard work, and you know a lot of people have that message, but you notice these people who grew up in really wealthy families where everything was easy and there was always plenty of money, they tend to often be the people who create a ton of money, and they continue to keep the family legacy going of tons of money coming in because they've been taught from the time they were little kids that money's just always there and there's plenty of it,
Exactly.
you know.
Yeah.
So we got to overcome the conditioning we had as kids,
Mhm.
but how do we get through those original messages we got in our family when we were growing up? And that's done by going inside and letting ourselves feel those feelings of lack, and then allowing ourselves to be okay with it, and they will naturally transform. Those feelings can naturally transform into feelings, and abundance then will flow into our lives more as we let go of these old things, these old patterns of conditioning.
Yeah.
That's another way.
Yep.
Uh, Shireen has a question, and we're going to get to it, but there's a follow-up from Elizabeth about what we were just talking about, so I'm going to insert that one here. Elizabeth asks, "What do you mean by a place of great receptivity, Tom?"
A place of great receptivity?
Yeah.
Well, if you let's say that you get out a journal, a piece of paper, and you start writing everything that you appreciate about your life the way it is right now, you know, and you look for, say, the abundance that's happening in your life. I have my health, or I have a certain amount of money is already in the bank, or I've got food in the refrigerator, I've got these wonderful friends in my life. You start writing down things that you appreciate. So you count your blessings, and that opens our heart. That opens our heart and our minds to be receptive to even more. Because we start creating a vibration inside of ourselves, allowing that vibration of receptivity to our own well-being. So we open ourselves by trusting that life wants to take care of us. Life wants to give us beauty. Life wants to give us money. Life wants us to be successful. But how do we just be receptive to that is that we start being appreciative of the things we already have, and then naming the things that we are open to receiving. And I don't know, I do it just by, I guess it's a level of trust. I just say I'm here to allow the universe to take care of me, and it wants to give me wonderful things. And
Hmm.
so being in that place, that's receptivity to me. And knowing, I mean, I like the fact that Abraham said 100% of your job as a human being is to be receptive to your own well-being.
Mm.
Good point.
100% of your job every day is to open your heart to receive the gifts that the universe wants to give you. But we got to be so relaxed to receive that. We have to chill
Yeah.
out, and just go, hey, maybe this isn't such a struggle. Maybe I'm trying way, way too hard and I worry way, way too much. And I think
Mhm.
about it way too much. I got to go have more fun, go general, go, listen to more music, dance more, hang out with your friends more. Do things that will make you feel like life is fun. If we're
Well,
always worried about
receptivity
it, go ahead.
receptivity is what Alex was doing this week. I mean, she was talking earlier about how she was getting all these contacts from friends all over the internet. I mean, you were in receptive mode the last few days, weren't you?
I have been, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a
And I
good place
think
to
that
be.
comes from the clearing session that you guys, well, not you, Tom, but Walt did earlier last week, I think. I participated, so I was like, yeah, I
Hmm.
think that's part of it too.
Oh,
The one
cool.
that Linda Armstrong led.
Yeah,
Yeah,
She did a group clearing session?
yeah. She did a group clearing session on money. Interestingly enough, yeah,
Oh, good, good. And
yeah,
and you noticed a difference, Alex, ever since then?
yes, I have, yeah,
Wow, that's sweet.
it was good. It
right?
was a good session. We got a lot of good feedback on that one too.
I think we clear, it's like they say it's like peeling the layers of the onion. You clear a little bit and then you clear a little bit more and you clear a little bit more, and before long you're just not as congested as you were with worry. You're not as
Hmm.
congested with struggle and trying so hard, and you start to more and more realize that, maybe I can just receive. I don't have to be struggling so hard to be the creator of everything.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Now, excuse me. Now, Shireen asked a question, and this is another one of those more general questions, and it's a good one. She says, "How do you cope with life hardships and with not really loving yourself?" So, really, two questions in one there. Either one of you want to take a stab at that one? How do you cope with life hardships and with not really loving yourself?
Well, I think you probably having trouble loving yourself because of the life hardships. Those go hand in hand.
Mm.
You know, and also low self-esteem has a play in it too. So it's as far as law of attraction goes, I would just ask the universe for, guidance.
It's always good going inside. That's
Yeah.
because that's what it is. When you go to the universe, you're going inside. Going inside is always a good approach.
Mhm.
And I with loving yourself, the thing that excuse me, the thing that has worked best for me has been what they call mirror exercises.
Mhm.
And I'll
Mhm.
see if I can find the link and plug that in for you. Excuse me for you, Shireen. But mirror exercises, you do those for a 30-day period, and if you do them faithfully and really work on saying those three very difficult words to yourself while you're looking at yourself in the eyes, "I love you." It's amazing how hard it is the first day or even the second day, but if you stick
It's
to it,
weird.
it's very weird, no doubt about it. But if you stick to it, it pays off, and your self-esteem improves. You start to feel more confident, and plus, at the end of about 20 to 30 days, all the negative self-talk disappears, which is
Mhm.
really cool. You know,
Yeah.
so I mean, I had had that negative self-talk going on for years. Did the 30-day program on the mirror exercises, and all of a sudden, my head was quiet. I
Mhm.
thought, wow, this is spooky. I'm not used to this.
It's lonely
I'm
in
hearing
here.
all the voices are gone. No, but seriously, it's really, really good stuff. So yeah, I'll get the link for mirror exercises and plug that in for you, Shireen. And I think that once you focus more on loving yourself and spending more time on appreciating who you are, I think you're going to find that your life hardships start to shift,
Mhm.
which is kind of what you were alluding to, Alex, that the
Yeah.
two are connected. I think they really are connected because the more that we love ourselves, we've just changed the whole thought dynamic. And when you change the
Mhm.
thought dynamic, you're changing the physical world dynamic that must manifest out of it. It's hard to predict in advance exactly how it's going to change, other than to say it's going to change for the better.
Yeah.
And it'll happen in unexpected ways, synchronicities, and all these kinds of weird things that happen. We look back and we say, "What? What happened? I don't understand." But that's the way when you do this stuff, especially in the early stages, that's the way it works. All you get these weird results that start happening, but they're results for the good if you're focusing on, you know, taking care of yourself, loving yourself,
Mhm.
feeling good about yourself, being kind to yourself. That's a big part of it. Boy, oh boy,
Yes.
you got to be kind to yourself. Look at all the different ways we're rough on ourselves. I mean, even the question. I mean, and I'm not criticizing you for the question. I'm just simply pointing out, how do you cope with life's hardships? We just beat ourselves up by saying, "Oh, we have all these hardships." You know, that's being rough on yourself. We don't think about it that way, but that's what it
Hmm.
is. Oh God, life is so hard on me, and as I'm saying that, I'm making it hard on me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
It's one of
strange
the
thing.
it's one of the best times to recognize the value of meditation, because if you can go in, if you create a daily practice of meditation, even if it's only 10 minutes or 15 minutes, you begin to give yourself a chance to go to a place where your thoughts aren't really constantly there. So you're seeing if something is inside you that emerges when you quit trying so hard with all your thoughts, and when you're in that place of stillness and you're just following your breath and your eyes are closed and you're letting yourself relax into that place inside, then you can start to realize that love is naturally inside yourself. And I think we have to make peace with the fact that we sometimes are feeling bad. You know, we have to make. There's this thing that Abraham said: make peace, make peace, make peace with what is right now. And I think that's so key for me, is that I have to feel like it's okay that I don't feel good all the time. It's okay to just accept all my feelings, make peace with all of my feelings. You know, there's this famous saying, let all your feelings be welcome at your fire. You know, and if we can make peace with even the things that seem the most difficult for us, then we can be able to then be more receptive to the fact that there's good things happening in our life, and we get out our journal and start writing all the things that we're grateful for, all the things we appreciate, and we start realizing that, you know, maybe we can maybe we can love the fact of all the things that are working good in our lives. You know, we
Hmm.
start feeling better
Point.
about the things, and we quit seeing things as what a struggle it is and how difficult it all is and how much I don't love myself. Oh, well, I guess I do love this about myself, and I guess I do
Hmm.
love this about myself. Like, write down 10 things you do like about yourself, you know, and each day write down something you like about yourself or about your life, you know, or about another friend. Even if you just write about things you appreciate about other people, it'll bring alive in you the things you appreciate about yourself and about your life.
That's good. Yeah.
Hmm.
And Dasha also added a really poignant comment. She says, while what we say in the mirror, we need to mean it too. Oftentimes, I've noticed we do things in autopilot rather than feeling it deeply. And that's true,
Mm.
especially with the mirror exercise. It's really easy to just kind of go through the motions and not actually look in your own eyes and not actually talk to
Yeah.
yourself. It's kind of like, oh, I have to do this, so I'm just going to do it. No, no, she's right. You got to mean it. You got to dive into it because that's
Hmm.
where you actually get the power out of it.
I like this thing, become your own best friend. Make a decision that nobody can love you the way you can love yourself, and that you're
Mm.
walking around with you all day long. So, you know, how are you ever going to how am I ever going to feel love if I can't somehow work on that one thing? Like, how can I love myself just by choosing to do it? You know, just
Hmm.
continually saying, there's nobody in this room right now but me. At least I can love me, you know. Or
Hmm.
you can trust in your a higher power that's got your back. You can say, you know, there's got to be somebody who loves me out there, you know, and let
Right.
yourself feel the love from them, because I believe that really is the way it is. There's all kinds of beings that are focused on us that love us, but
Hmm.
what if we just cultivate the ability to trust that we're loved, and cultivate the ability to love ourselves by just making a decision. I'm going to be my best friend from now on. I'm going to
Hmm.
be my very best friend, and I'm never going to make myself wrong again, if you can help it. I mean, of course you will, but you know, it's like you kind of make
Yeah.
that decision that no matter what happens, I'm going to forgive myself. No matter what happens, I'm going to give myself a break, and I'm not going to keep making myself wrong.
It's funny as you were talking about that, the way you were phrasing it was reminding me of a very old James Bond movie, The Spy Who Loved Me. The theme song was "Nobody Does It Better," and that's exactly what you were saying. I heard Carly Simon singing in my head.
Nobody does it better.
That was funny. Yeah. January has a question. She says, I'm going for a job interview that I want to happen. How can I manifest it? And she says she also has a test on Monday. So I guess that's part of the question. So I don't think she has any trouble manifesting the job interview. I think what she wants is the job. So as she says,
Obviously.
because the job interview, she's already got that.
Yeah.
So, okay. So how about some ideas on how to manifest the job?
I think we go with what Walt said. You visualize yourself already having the job. Visualize yourself.
Uh-oh. Do we get a freeze? Uh-oh. I think she froze
Internet
up.
cut
Sorry,
out.
guys. Yeah,
She
internet
says
again.
her internet cuts out for a few seconds every once in a while.
Every once in a while.
Try,
Only
try it
twice an
again.
episode, though.
Only
Yeah.
twice an episode. Yes. Okay. So you've had your turn. You're done.
I had my two. I'm good.
So give it another
But
shot.
yeah,
What were you saying?
I was saying visualize yourself sitting at the cubicle and already decorating your desk and enjoying your coworkers and working the job.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a good vignette because that's an easy one to play, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty easy to make up. Or if maybe it's not a cubicle, maybe you're not actually working in an office
Well,
situation.
whatever the job is.
Yeah. But the point is, you can visualize it because you know what it
Right.
is you want to do. That's what you're interviewing for because you want to be doing that.
Yes,
So putting that little
exactly.
vignette together is pretty darn easy, really. You just have
Mhm.
to put it in there and put it into your mind. And I like recommending what Neville Goddard suggests. He suggests that take advantage of the vignette of being congratulated.
Mhm.
He told a story about the guy who wanted to he wanted to have a franchise of an Arthur Murray studio, Arthur Murray dance class studio, and
Mhm.
his vignette was being congratulated by the regional director for having been awarded a franchise. And so he just kept playing the vignette of this guy shaking his hand. And
Mhm.
the thing that Neville points out is it's very important to make yourself part of it. Don't be the observer. Be a part of the
Mm.
scene. So his hand was the one shaking hands, right?
Right.
Another way Neville describes it is the difference between seeing a ladder and watching somebody climb the ladder and actually going up to the ladder and feeling the sides of the ladder and feeling the
Mhm.
rungs and putting your feet on the rungs and walking up the ladder. That's what the difference is. You want to
That's
put
hard to
yourself
do.
into the well, it's harder to do, but so is mirror exercise. I mean, looking in the
Mm.
mirror and actively saying
True.
to yourself, "I love you," that's pretty hard too.
And
But
Mhm.
yeah.
visualization is a skill that we develop too. It's like
Mhm.
we didn't grow up. If we would have had classes in grade school about how to visualize, we'd all be living different lives because it's a skill. I mean, we do use our imaginations a lot, but I really realize that you got to spend 5 to 10 minutes a day sitting in a chair or laying down on your couch or something and run those pictures through your head of, even of yourself spending the money that you get from your job. See yourself, well, what do you want that money for? See yourself doing those fun things or going out to the store and buying a ton of food, and you've got plenty of money. So you're enjoying the fruits of your labor, and you
Mhm.
also, like you said, see yourself at that job already having gotten it. See the guy in the interview congratulating you and shaking your hand saying, well, you got the job, fantastic, and we'll see you on Monday. Right, you see all that stuff taking place,
Mhm.
and that makes a huge difference. Yeah, and that confidence that it will, and that trust that the universe, there's no reason the universe doesn't want you to be successful, and just
Right.
sort of trust that
Right.
there's no reason why I can't be successful, so I'm going to just give up the idea that, and if not this, then something better will come.
Mhm.
So, this, the universe will unfold this for me in the most wonderful way possible. I just have to be surrendered to the fact that it's going to happen. I'm going to end up with a really good job. If not this one, then it's going to be another one, and it's going to
Mhm.
come in the right timing. But yeah, it takes a lot of faith to just not keep sabotaging ourselves by telling ourselves, oh my God, what if I don't get this job? Oh my God, I need this money so bad. And, it's like all those
Reminds
old,
me
oh my God stories are the
I'm
worst.
Mhm.
thinking of movies today, and the movie that I'm thinking of is a chorus line. One of the very first songs is, "Oh God, I need this job," and you have the dancers who are trying to get into the chorus line because they're desperate to further their career by actually being able to pay the bills. I
Yeah,
need
yeah,
this
yeah,
job so bad.
yeah. Yeah, desperation and impatience sabotage me all the time. Like if I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying too hard and I'm desperate about it, man, yeah, got to let go of that stuff or
You
somehow
do. Which ties into
relax.
the next question we're getting, actually. This is from Lynn. And Lynn she says, I'm a would-be children's author with about 10 stories in so many pieces, but I'm constantly finding reasons not to work at it. I feel like the clutter or messy garage is holding me back. How do I get past all the excuses? Good question. How do you get past all the excuses?
Just do it. Clean up the garage. It's just that simple. If these things are getting in your way, fix them and keep it moving.
It's a good
Yeah,
point.
one
I mean,
one way
it seems
is
so simple to say that. Like, well, why didn't I
Yeah.
fix
It's like when people tell me because I'm an insomniac, they're like, "Well, have you tried closing your eyes?" No, I did. I didn't think of that.
that?
Did you try laying in the bed? Yeah.
Exactly. Have you tried turning
Yes.
off the light? No,
Yeah,
I didn't think of that
yeah,
one either.
yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Well, have you tried making the bed? Oh, no, no, sorry.
That's the opposite effect.
Uh, but it's a good point. I mean, it's a very straightforward point. If you're being bothered by clutter, get the clutter out of the way. I mean,
Yeah.
literally, and even if you can't bring yourself to clean up the clutter, just get a plastic bag, a great big trash bag, and put all the clutter in the trash bag. Put it over in the corner. Now the clutter's out of the way. You don't have to throw the trash bag out. You can go through it
Mhm.
later, but now you got the clutter out of the way, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
that's one of the big things for cluttering is to get yourself 10 boxes or however many you need and label each box with what's in there, but just put everything in a box and stack all the boxes in one place with the labels of what's in those boxes, and
Yep.
then everything looks great. And then you go back in and you start writing on your children's stories. And one way to get your children's stories written is put your butt in a chair for a certain given period of time and say, every day I'm going to put my butt in this chair for 2 hours and I'm going to commit to 250 words and that's it. But if you did that every day for a year, you would have an entire book written by the end of the year. If you just
Mhm.
wrote 250 words a day or even 5 days a week and then take 2 days off, you would get a lot written. But this making that routine is kind of important. I know that's what I have to do to get. I'm writing modules right now for workshops, and if I don't create a time to do it, it just doesn't get done. It's just I have to make a time, and I had to declutter a ton of stuff before I could convince myself because I felt my head was full of clutter and my
Mhm.
garage was full of clutter and my upstairs bedroom was full of clutter. But what I did is I just slowly worked on the clutter. And, first you might have to put it all in boxes, but then once in a while, take one or two of those boxes, have a little table set up somewhere, take one or two of the boxes, open them up, get rid of that stuff, go back in, do your 2 hours of writing, and then go for a walk and go do something fun. Create a little bit of a routine where you get a little something done every day. And
Mhm.
but that seems hard for us, but I think that's the minimum discipline, right? I mean, otherwise, yeah, I think I continue to spin my wheels forever.
I think there's actually even perhaps an easier way to do it. I mean,
Hmm.
not that that isn't an effective way, but I think there's an easier way because there's also kind of a risk there that if you plop yourself down like that and force yourself to sit in that chair, you're forcing yourself to do something you really don't want to do, and so now you start developing an aversion to the thing that you really want to be doing. So you got a little bit of a risk, but we don't have to even have that risk, I don't think. We can use the same kind of methods that we use for attracting the job from the job interview or the money for whatever it is we want the money for or any of this kind of thing by simply creating the vignette of what it's like to enjoyably sit down and get excited about writing the book
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
or enjoyably get excited about having the clear space. We can visualize this stuff and
Mhm.
we can imagine how good it feels and get ourselves into the good feeling place. Because really, I would say it's not being in the good feeling place that causes the problem. It isn't the clutter. It isn't the excuses. It isn't the
Right.
stuff that, it isn't the fact that the stories are in pieces. It's that we don't feel good about it. We just got to
Hmm.
learn how to feel good about it.
Right.
So anything that we can do to create a vision, a vignette of feeling good about the thing that we most like doing. Well, first of all, it's an easy vignette to create because we already know what we like about it. And secondly, it's one we can do. We're going to be very unlikely to put it off. I mean, that was the big complaint, right? She said, I have all these excuses I make. Well, you stop making excuses when you're actually doing what you love.
Right.
It's like with my wife. My wife has, for years and years, talked about how she doesn't like getting up early. She really, really doesn't like getting up early until she discovered tag sailing. And after she loves tag sailing. She loves going out and finding stuff, finding a bargain, and trying to resell it on Craigslist or something like that. She just loves doing that kind of thing.
Mm. Mm.
And she hasn't
Hmm.
done it lately, but she really was into it for a while. And when she was into it, Saturday morning would come along, and the woman who would not want to be up before 8 o'clock was up bright and early at 5:30, ready to go out the door at 6 to hit the first tag sale, saying, "I'll see you in about 6 hours." Why? Because she loved it. She was
Yeah.
so psyched about it. It felt
Hmm.
good to her. She had tapped into the good feeling. So that's really what I
Hmm.
think the solution is. You've got to find where the good feeling is. So far, you've been looking at all the stuff that doesn't feel good, the excuses, the clutter, the stories and pieces. That stuff doesn't feel good. What's the part that feels good?
Mhm.
Right.
Talk about that one for a while.
Hmm.
What's any part of your life that feels good? Like if you can
Yeah.
go do something in even some other area of your life, it'll pull up these other areas. Like if you get really happy in one part of your life, it'll it can pull up the other areas, and you all of a sudden want to sit down and write because you were so happy because you started going dancing, or because you started going on beautiful walks in nature, or you started to dance around your house more to beautiful music, and you created a sense of inspiration in your life, and it just all of a sudden you found yourself wanting to go declutter the garage, or wanting to go and write on your children's stories because you started having more fun in general in life, and you quit
Hmm.
worrying about the fact that you weren't getting done these other things. You
Hmm.
quit having that be the center of your life. Like, oh, why can't I make these things happen? You know, we
Absolutely.
we stress out too hard about the stuff that we think is going to
Oh,
make us happy, and in the meantime, we're not happy.
we
We're
are
not.
so rough on ourselves. I mean, really, I have come to appreciate that, particularly in the last year, just how rough we can be on ourselves.
Hmm.
We're brutal. We're tougher than our worst bullying critic. I mean,
Yeah.
we beat ourselves up daily, and it's time to stop. It's time to start
Hmm.
being gentle. It's time to start feeling kind about ourselves instead of, oh, gotta force myself to do this stuff I don't want to do that I really want to do. What?
Yeah.
What kind of logic is that?
Meditation will help there too, because we get
Yeah,
more
it
into a
does.
place where we get neutral about everything. And then when you come out of meditation, you often feel like, well, why wouldn't I want to just sit down and write my children's stories? I feel so good.
Yeah.
Mm, yeah. Oh, and Herbert, I think this was tying back to the question about money, but he shared an interesting insight. He said, I just had this happen to me. I sent out that I wanted money, had a chance to acquire it, and didn't. And I didn't allow it to get me down,
Hmm.
which is a really, really good point. You
Yeah.
know, we put something out and it doesn't show up because we're resisting in some way that we aren't even perhaps aware of,
Right.
and we get down on ourselves.
Hmm.
We should actually do just the opposite. We should get excited about the fact that we got there part way. We just have to go the rest of the way and get back into that positive feeling place again and just, keep putting it out there and keep working on, paying attention if we notice any resistances that come up so that we can pull them out, feel them a little bit and say, okay, I'm done with that. Put it aside. I release that resistance. But
Hmm.
the one thing we don't want to do is just get down about it because all we're doing is going backward at that point. In fact, he even has a little phrase he has. He says, I know I am money and it will materialize physically, which is good.
I like
That's
it.
very good. Yeah. Um, let's see. Oh, Lynn actually gave us a little feedback on what she's doing. Let's see. Oh, the comments are flowing a little bit faster than I can read them. But let me see if I can just copy and paste. That way I can get it. She says, I fill up a garbage bin and run it out the door, start another, a donation bin, fill and run it out. Okay, good. All right.
Yay. See?
So that's what you want to do. That's really good. And we're getting some good feedback too. People telling us, Jennifer saying you are all amazing. I would love to share multi-sensory vision boards app, subliminal vision boards app. It is changing people's lives. Please let me know how I could collaborate with you, love and light. Well, I think you just did. Put a link in, put a little reply to your thing there, and a link to whatever it is that you want us to link to, and people will be able to find your vision board app. So thank you very much for that. And Lynn also came back, love this info, to be kinder to myself and visualize the good feelings of the garage and stop punishing myself as I do punish myself. Yeah, you're not the only one, Lynn.
We
Believe
all
me,
do it.
you are not the only one. We all are guilty of this. But the good news
Yes.
is we're recognizing it. That's what the 12-step programs say, right? The first step is recognizing you got a problem. Okay, we recognize we
Yeah.
got a problem.
Yeah.
We just passed the first step. Hooray!
Yeah, and that's the making peace with it. If you don't accept the way it is, it can't change, because then you're resisting it all the time, and it just gets bigger. It persists. What you resist persists. You got to accept it, love it, embrace it, welcome at your fire, and then go on to the next thing. Once you're just at peace with the fact, hey, I'm not doing my work, and oh well. What's next? I can do something inspiring. I can do something fun. I can write about something I appreciate. I can sort one box. I don't have to sort 10 boxes. I can go for a walk. Find something that feels good. Do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Carl Jung. That's who came up with that "what you resist persists" phrase. So
Did
you're
he?
tapping into. Yeah, that was him.
Oh, cool.
He's the one who originated that one. So you're
That's
tapping
awesome.
into a high-level psychotherapist, psychologist there. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Got a couple minutes, and I want to make sure I get a couple messages in here. Please share the fact that you're liking this, because we're getting a lot of good likes on this, a lot of eyeballs watching, which is really good. And we want to get the word out to more people, because the reason you found out about this is somebody shared it with you. So pass it along. Treat it like a chain letter. This is one time a chain letter is actually a good thing. This is the kind of chain letter you want to pass along, because getting a daily dose of happy into everybody's days, into their lives, is a very good thing. And look what it's doing for you. So, put out a post somewhere on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, or, take a screenshot of what we're doing and put it on Instagram, or put something in Reddit or tweet it or something. But every time that we're doing these, please put it out there, because we want more and more people to get their daily dose of happy. And if you're not a subscriber, what are you waiting for? The links are in most of the places where we're posting this stuff. Just, click the appropriate link for either an Apple device or an Android type device, and it'll just walk you right through it. And that way you get all of the episodes coming right to your smartphone. So please subscribe, please share, and please keep those cards and letters coming, and keep posting the notes and so forth, because that's what's making this whole thing work, and we're loving every second of it. Okay, we got like a minute, 2 minutes left before the music, so I'm going to go to Tom first. Tom, what's the big takeaway from today's Q&A? What's the best piece of information you saw or heard, or maybe even said today?
I heard myself saying the word relax a lot, and I realize that's a huge part of it, is to chill out. So I'd say chill out, write down the things that you are grateful for, the things you do appreciate. Make a little list every day if you can. And those a couple good things, really good things.
Absolutely.
I could go on and on, but I'm not going to.
We are good at that.
Yeah.
For both, you just keep going. You're like a fountain, this flowing fountain of information that just keeps coming out and coming out and coming out. So that's cool. Good stuff. And Alex, what's your takeaway? What's the one message that you think has resonated the most that you want to leave people with today?
I would say get out of your own way, be grateful, and trust the universe.
Trust.
Yeah, that's simple. That's a good simple approach, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Easy to say, not so easy to do perhaps some days, but
Right.
only where we're getting to.
But we
Right?
can develop it. We're developing
Yes.
those skills,
Mhm.
that grow
Exactly
day
so.
by day. How about
Yeah.
you, Walt? What's your big takeaway?
My takeaway is I love our listeners. I love you guys. I love all of this. I mean, I am so
Oh,
grateful for everything that is happening with this podcast. I love the live streaming that we're doing. I love the questions that we're getting. I love the insights that we're getting from the audience. and I want more and more and more of it. I am so greedy. I want more and more and more and more.
And you're doing it every day, twice a day. That's pretty amazing.
Twice a day, absolutely. We're live
Yeah.
streaming everyone we can live stream whenever
Yeah.
Facebook lets us do it, which is most of the time. So
Your biggest threat is if you get too happy. You got to be careful.
I don't know if that's even possible, but I'll tell you what. I will test to see if I can get too happy, and if I can, I'll let you know about it. How about that?
Well, you already seem to be that. Just looking at you, you're pretty friggin' happy.
Well, thank you guys for doing this. Thanks to our audience for tuning in live, and thanks to our podcast listening audience who listen after the fact because we love all of you. And we'll see you all next time here on Elevate Today. Goodbye, everybody.
Everybody dance. Come on. Let's dance. Let's dance.